Well, good morning. I dug out the crescent-shaped Sauerman bucket. Then I want to try hanging on the 10B. Once again, this came from my old neighbor. So I want to use that on the 10B to try dragging the roots and everything together. And here I'm working at trying to get this bolt out of that clevis. Most people would just cut it, but I'd kind of like to get it out. I'm sure the end room is mushroomed off over here. I'll probably get the grinder out and grind on there. I've already tried my Milwaukee Impact. That isn't turning it so far, and I've heated it. I'll probably take a cold chisel and try on a couple of the flats here to spread the nut a little bit, maybe heat it again. I say most people would just cut it and use a new one, but I'd kind of like to get it out. That's the way my old friend Alan would have done it, because he always tried to save everything. And I have to tell you, it really makes me think of him, because he could very well have been the last person who touched that bolt, putting it together. And I think from stories he's told me, the drag scraper bucket may have been used, would have been in his gravel pit feeding his washing plant in the 30s. So I'm going to keep at it. We'll see how it goes. Now I'm going to see if I can loosen this nut a little bit with a chisel to spread it a little. I have a big plate of steel for a backup. Now I'll try the Impact again. I know my old friend Alan would be completely amazed at what this Impact will do. Well, I'm going to chisel it some more. You don't have to watch that. Well, it is moving back and forth a little bit. Now I'm going to get in here and grind out the mushroomed over part of the bolt and get some penetrating oil on it. Well, I worked it back and forth a couple times with some penetrating oil, and then it came off just like that. As I said, my old friend Alan would be mighty impressed with this. So there we have it. I'll clean the threads up, and I'll probably drill a hole through the bolt for a cotter pin for a safety to keep the nut on. Next I got to work on clevises for the drag chains for the bucket. Now here you can see I drilled a hole through this bolt for a lock, and this pin for the drag chain, the cotter pin wouldn't come out, or the split pin, so I drilled that out too. Now I'm going to make locks true to the way Alan would have made them. I'm going to make them the same way Alan would have made them years ago. He wouldn't use the bolt cutters. He would use the cold chisel. I need 3 of them. Alan would always carry extras in the drag line. So we got 3 cut off. Now I'll put a bend on one end in the vise. So I have my 3 locks made. Now I'll go get the forklift and take the bucket over to the 10B. Now before I put it on, I thought I'd show you a little more about this bucket. You can see it's had pieces added here in the center and on that side. They put it in 3 pieces for a new cutting edge. They weren't pieces that were made for that. You can see it's whatever material they found to use. And then bolted the teeth back on. Now look at the back side of it. Now here, you can see where original cutting edge I believe would have been. And maybe the teeth bolted up here. But then those pieces that were added on the inside were extended down past the original lip. And then they put teeth on it. So I'm sure this bucket moved a lot of gravel and dirt in its life. And hopefully it's going to move a little bit more here pretty soon. Probably the first time since the 1930s. So let's get it put on. Now we'll see to getting the Sauerman bucket hooked up. Now I'll put my locks in. I have my locks in. Let's see how it works. Maybe it won't work worth a darn, who knows. The hoist brake is dragging too much. I think it would work pretty good, but my hoist drum is still dragging too much on the brake, so it doesn't let enough weight go down on it. But it rakes it off pretty nice. I say it's just for fun in the first place, kinda. So I think that's going to be it for this evening. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Good night.